So to create the contact page, the first thing we need to do, we need to go to our contact HTML page that we have here. And we just want to delete what's there. And then what we want to do, we want to go to our HTML templates and we want to get the HTML5 template. While we're here, let's just change this title so that we get a nice title at the top of the page called Contact Us. So what we now want to do, we're going to create a number of input elements on the page to allow us to enter name, email address, message. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to actually put those inside a set of a field set, as it's called. It kind of links everything together. It gives a nice sort of visual element to the page, so all the elements look like they belong together. So to do that, we just go to our body where we want to start, and we just create a field set. Okay, very simple. Okay, so this is where we're going to be putting all our elements for the Contact Us page. And then let's surround that. Actually, what we really want to do before we do that is we also want that to be inside a form. So I want to create a form, and let's get that form a nice name, just in case we want, just in case we want to actually do any styling to this later on. So we call it contact form, and we give it name exactly the same, just so it's all consistent. We're going to have a method of post, just like we did before. And our last set of fields that we put up for the on the main page, because obviously we want to be able to post the elements to our PHP. And what we're going to do, we're going to create an action, and we're going to create something a little bit later on. I'm going to call it if it goes to the right place without it jumping, it's going to be called post email .php. Now I've not created this yet. This will be something that we will be creating later on, and let's do that close form after my field set. Right, and let's just tab indent this and this. Okay, so next thing I want to do, final thing for this lecture, is I'm going to actually give this field set something called a legend. Okay, and that basically sets a name to the field set so you can visually see it, and I'm going to show you this in a second. Again, let's just call that Contact Us, and let's save that, and then what we will do, we will see what that looks like, and it will give you an idea of what a field set is and what a legend is. Right, so this box here is a field set, and the legend is this title here. So what we're going to have all our elements for the Contact Us inside this box here, and it kind of gives it, as I say, a grouping feel. So in this lecture, we've added a HTML page to our Contact Us. We've created a new form called Contact Form, which has got a method of post and is going to be posting to a script which we have yet to create called postemail.php, and then we created a field set. In the next lecture, we're going to add the elements to the form for creating an email. So the way I'm going to create the form, or the elements of the form, is I'm going to actually use a table. A table is going to allow me to format it better. It's going to allow it to look a lot nicer. And in the past, many people, before they were these elements of grid systems about, they used tables to create their own grid system. It's what grid systems really are. It's just a table which has a set size and set elements, or number of elements. So we're going to create a table. Okay, and then what we're going to have, we're going to do a number of rows of the table. So we're going to have a new row, Right, and then inside there we're going to have table data. So the first one we're going to say it's got a label, okay, and that's for name, because this is going to be a label for our name field, and then that's just going to be name. Okay, that's that table data complete, and then we do one more, and this is going to be of input type equals text, because we're just text for our name, and then the name is equal name. Let's put some quotes around that. It's not the quotes. Okay, and then our ID is equal to name also. Again, this is if we feel like styling or anything like that later on. We can do that using the values that we set. And we're going to use a thing called placeholder. And what this does, it puts text in the fields that gives you a hint of what you want to put in the field or what you should put in the field. So this one's going to be enter name. And for this first one, we're going to set the auto focus to be equal to auto focus. Reason is we just want it to auto focus on this when it comes into the page. Okay, so that's that table row complete. That's our name. So let's create a new table row. And then this one is going to contain our email. So TD, and then we go label for equal for email, and then email is our label, and that row, actually you don't need to do that one. And then the next table data row again is going to be input type is equal to email, because it's an email input. Name is email, and the ID is email. And then again we're going to have a placeholder equals to enter email address, and then we're just going to close that one off. Notice we don't have the autofocus on this one because we only want autofocus on the first field when we come into this page. We don't want it to be getting confused. Okay, so that's our second row done. So another table row, and this one is going to be for our message. Okay, so first of all we have a TD, and then again we have label for message, and then in this one, instead of using input, we're going to use a thing called text area. Okay, and that's going to give us a big box to put some text in for a message, because obviously this is going to be a message field. ID is equal to message, so they're the same. And then what we do, we give it the columns, which we're going to say is equal to 45, and we're going to give it rows is equal to 5. And this is kind of limiting the size of the text area, just so we've, we're not allowing it, or we send the size so that we know how many columns and rows, or that the text area knows how many columns and rows when it builds it. You can increase that if you want to. I'm just going to set mine to 45 and 5, and then we're going to have a placeholder, and then we're going to say enter your message. And then let's close it off. And we close off our text area. So now if we just save this and then we just have a look how that looks. And now we can see the making of our contact form. We've got our name, our email address, and our message. The only thing we need now are buttons to be able to send that message, and also a second button that we're going to use to reset it, because on most contact pages you can actually reset the content. So all we need to do is we need to have another table row. Okay, and for this one, what I'm going to do is, this won't much make sense, but it's to actually put everything in line. I'm going to actually have a blank TD first, because this moves. Notice we don't have any label for this one, so there's nothing on the left. So this TD is in replacement of the label, so that the buttons line up nicely with everything else. So again, we have a next table data row, and then we're going to say input type is equal to reset, and this is our reset button to clean everything out. Name is equal to reset, ID is equal to reset, and then value is equal to reset. Okay, and then we're not closing down the TD at this point, just the input type, because we're going to have a second input. Then the type of this one is equal to submit, because this is our submit button. And then I'm going to call it send, and I'm going to give it an ID send, and then value is equal to submit. Now you could actually call the name and ID submit, but I just like to call them send so I know what they are. And there we have it. Now if I just save that off, and let's take a look at this now. Here we go, we've got a nice reset and submit button. So if I was to type something in there and I don't like it, reset clears it out. Same with the name, and reset. And submit won't work because we're not running PHP, but you can see it tries to submit it. So there we have it. That's our base contact us page with a contact us field set.